So now you can see how close the wheel actually gets to the bracket, and that's why at full lock, this is how close the wheel gets to the blow-off valve adapter here. So I think if I remove this bracket, I'll get some more space between the tyre and this bolt, because that's exactly where it rubs the most. Because if you can imagine, once the weight of the car is on it, the center point of the wheel is now at this point, and you can see how much contact there is now there. So if I get rid of the bracket, I don't think it needs two brackets to stay in place. You've still got the other bracket there, which I've disconnected. So if I remove that one, I might be able to move this whole adapter out to get a little bit more clearance and reduce the amount of scrubbing, or at least make it just like scrubbing. So we'll see how we go. So as you can see, a little bit more space there. Give this a go. See if there's enough clearance for it to stop scrubbing. My wheels are 19 by 10.5 plus 12 with 265 by 35 tyres. So that's the level of clearance. There is not much. So one thing you can see from here is where the tyre was rubbing on the guard liner, and that was where the bolt was. As you can see, it's a little bit more space there now. It's still going to rub, but it's not going to be hard up against it, so that might help and stop any more holes forming. But we'll see how we go. There you can see two different bumpers. I've moved the GTR logo onto this and put some smoke indicators on. So bar's ready to go on. With the GTR badge, they do provide you with this little backing plate. However, I needed to wedge something in between the bracket to take up the slack, because there's little prongs that stick through from the badge, so that when you tighten up the screw, it doesn't actually bottom out on anything and it's loose. So wedge that in, seems to do the trick. Transfer the bracket over, line it all up, it's ready to go on. So the front bar is on, paint matches. Put the guard liners in, which is an absolute pain in the arse, but they're in now. And now I just need to bolt on the front lip. I'm going to use the bolts that came with this front bar to put that on. There's 6 extra bolts. I didn't put everything in, because I don't think the inner guard liners are going anywhere. They're wedged in there pretty good. So I've just got most of the clips in there to hold it in, and yeah, let's get this front lip on. So now I've encountered my first issue, well, probably second issue. You count that the side indicators don't fit. My front lip is not a genuine one. And what that means is, because this front bumper bar is fiberglass, it's quite rigid compared to the OEM one, which means where it is where it is, and the front lip sits a little bit too far forward, because those back 2 tabs there are once pushed in hard up against the underpan, still doesn't let the bolts line up. So I think now I need to hunt for a genuine under diffuser to solve this issue. I don't think there's any more adjustment in it. I've backed off all the screws and tried to move it around, but yeah, it's not going to line up, which is a bit of a pain, but yeah. So the front bar is fitted, but can't get the car on the ground because I now need a new genuine diffuser. So unfortunately can't get the car on the ground, which really annoys me, but anyway, it is what it is. Looking good, the paint matches, which is great. Guess it's a little bit hard to get white wrong, but almost ready. So hopefully I can find a lip that doesn't cost a lot of money that I can get on the car and it fits perfectly. So I got myself an OEM plastic diffuser, and it does fit a little bit better because there is flex in the bar. However, what I've realized also is if I put the front bumper bar on loose with all the screws loose, then put on the diffuser, which then gets it in place and gives it a little bit more degrees of freedom, then tighten up the bar, I can get it all on. However, with the front diffuser on, I can't get the underliners on. So now that the front bumper bar is tightened down, I will take off the lip, put the liners in, then put the lip back on, and hopefully it should all line up. Now I do like the OEM lip. It is, and since I'm restoring this car, it is a better idea to get the OEM lip. But look at all these little guide vanes and little block offs to guide it. But it's actually quite neat compared to all the imitation ones. So if you can, get the genuine one. It's much nicer. And there's all these little notches that suit the bar. So I can confirm that a Z-Tune bar, a Nismo Z-Tune bar, does fit the OEM V-Spec under tray. It is a bit of a tight fit. They don't line up perfectly, but with a bit of persuasion, it all fits together. Now I can see why also that some of the bolts on used lips are torn or pushed one way. It's because the bumper bar is putting on a bit of load to these back screws specifically, which sort of pulls them to one side, so eventually that'll stretch. But yeah, there you go. It's complete now. And it's looking good and aggressive. Can't wait to get her on the road.